Greetings, legends, and one overwhelming request we have seen time and time again since launching this series has been, when are you going to get to the God of Thunder, Thor? Well, that video's coming, but honestly, my favorite comic book character is Superman, and because of that, this is the video that I was born to make. I have been pushing down my own personal feelings towards some of these suits for so long that no doubt it's destroyed aspects of my personal and professional life. Some of these I have a deep, unconditional love for, and others I have a hatred that burns with the intensity of the red sun of Krypton. But before we start ranking supersuits, let's talk about today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Now that is a dragon that even Danny Rand would hesitate to tell he was the immortal Iron Fist. Raid Shadow Legends is one of the most immersive and exciting new mobile RPGs that's just hit the scene, and it will change your view on mobile games, trust me. First off, it's free to play and it has a nearly perfect score on iTunes and the Google Play Store. The storyline is on par with massive AAA titles, and it has a ton of amazing features that you would expect to see from any good RPG. An epic storyline, awesome 3D graphics that are some of the best we've seen on mobile, massive boss fights, PvP gameplay, and more than 400 champions for you to collect and personally customize. Just take a look at the amazing detail on some of these guys. Not only is the story top-notch, but the game will bring you back to the glory days of classic RPGs and strategy games, but with the added bonus of being able to play on your phone, ready to play anywhere at any time. And for all of you old-school gamers who maybe aren't playing games anymore, trust me, it's worth giving a shot to reignite your love for gaming. The game is growing insanely fast, and you can expect to see huge updates this month, which will be pure fun for new players. This is by far the best time to join the action. You can find us in-game under the name Key Issues, and if you're quick enough, you can also join our clan. So I guess the only thing left to ask is, what are you waiting for? Go to the video description, click on our custom link, and you'll instantly get 50,000 silver and a free epic champion to get your head start on your journey. Good luck, and we'll see you there. Now we're going to have a couple honorable mentions, and that's just so that we can remain truthful in saying that we ranked every single suit that we could possibly find. First up, we have the Dean Cain's rejected Superman suits from the New Adventures of Lois and Clark, and these never quite saw the light of day, but we figured we'd give them a shout out anyway. Next up, we have Johnny Rockwell, aka Superboy, not Superman, and this suit is, as I mentioned, not actually a Superman suit, it's a Superboy suit, but considering they're pretty much identical suits, it's gonna get an honorable mention. Alright, enough of this, let's rank some actual suits. Coming in at number 25, we have David Wilson's suit from It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's Superman. In 1975, ABC did a live-action recorded rendition of the musical, It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's Superman. And they left out the end of the title, which is interesting because it should have been It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's Superman, and it's terrible. Now, there are more infamously bad Superman suits out there today, but I'm going to have to give this one last place because this costume looks shoddy for the time period that it was made in. There was literally no effort put into this suit whatsoever. It's not particularly well made, and it looks like pajamas more than anything else. Go watch some footage of this on YouTube. It's weird, and Superman ends up as this kind of weird Italian stereotype. It's not good at all. And the last thing I have to mention here is that the costume comes down to about nipple level on David Wilson, which is just awkward and weird. At number 24, we have the infamous Superman Lives suit. And what can I say about this suit that hasn't already been said? This suit is an absolute abomination. It was created for the Tim Burton Superman project that never actually ended up seeing the light of day, titled Superman Lives, and this suit was everything wrong with the world. The S is horrible, the suit at one point lit up with LEDs, and Superman has long hair, pretty much looking like Bodhi from Point Break. This suit was extremely difficult to move in, extremely difficult to breathe in, and extremely difficult to look at. Another weird element of this suit was that if it would have made it to the big screen, it would have appeared almost like the Venom symbiote, a weird chemical compound that slides over Superman's skin and turns into armor. If you want to learn more about this suit and the film, please check out the documentary The Death of Superman Lives. At number 23, we have Brian Holden in Holy Musical Batman, and this suit is kinda goofy, but I think it's supposed to be goofy. Holy Musical Batman is a comedy, and it's supposed to be kinda tongue-in-cheek, and I think that the outfit represents that, but it's not particularly good. This Superman costume kinda answers the question, what would John Mulaney look like if he was Superman? Well, here you go. Number 22 is Mayo Kaan, and this is somewhat controversial of a suit, as Mayo Kaan, the actor shown on screen, claimed to be the original model of Superman. Many people, including Superman's creator, have refuted this claim over the years, and the costume was believed actually to be primarily used for public appearances. It was a typical strongman look, and this costume is very reminiscent of the earliest Superman comic appearances. Note that it has a lack of boots, it's almost like socks. Number 21 is Tom Welling's black suit, aka the Blur from Smallville. Smallville set the blueprint for angsty superhero action dramas for the CW, and Tom Welling was the blueprint for that leading role. This suit, again nicknamed the Blur, is straight trash. It's basically just a black Superman t-shirt and jeans with a black duster, which is like a regular coat, except longer, thicker, and far more badass. It makes you look like Lorenzo Lamas, and women find it irresistible. Coming in at number 20, we have the suit worn by Ray Middleton in the New York World's Fair in 1940. And it is considered by most notable Superman enthusiasts to be the first time Superman was publicly portrayed by an actor. It's a fairly straightforward, almost homemade Golden Age look. Note the shorter cape and larger trunks, which were fairly common with strongmen of that era, and the boots are also far more reminiscent of wrestlers' boots, which was a growing attraction at the time. The suit, much like Mayo Kaan's, was a more lighter blue color, and as the suit ages, you will notice that the blue gets consistently darker as the years go on. Returning to Tom Welling at number 19, we have the Superman Earth 1 style jacket from Smallville, which is kind of interesting for me to call it that, considering Earth 1 came out like way after season 10 of Smallville, but that's what it reminds me of, so that's what I'm calling it. This isn't a horrible jacket by itself, but it's not really a Superman costume. It's presentable enough to beat out most of the other costumes on this list, though. And it's definitely true that future comic book versions of Clark Kent would absolutely rock the just jacket and jeans approach to being Superman for a little bit of time. Note the New 52 Superman. Speaking of pretty actors playing Superman in CW dramas, we next jump to the worst suit that Tyler Hoechlin wore in Supergirl. And yes, that is how you pronounce his name, Tyler Hoechlin. This suit is a clear take and draws a ton of inspiration from the Superboy Prime armor from Infinite Crisis, but it is used in a much different way. It's actually designed in the show to protect him from various characters who have kryptonite embedded in them, similar to someone like Metallo. This specific suit is not bad. In fact, I think if there were a bit more effects added to it and the proportions were right, it could have been good, but overall, it's definitely the weakest of all of the suits that are remaining on this list. Next up, we have Kirk Alyn, whose suit is starting to get into the territory of suits that I would consider to be pretty good. Kirk is well known for being the first actor to play Superman in an actual motion picture. This suit is a great representation of the Golden Age through early Silver Age Superman appearances. The costume is one of, if not the first to feature the redesigned classic red and yellow S on the chest, the House of L insignia. And the actor is also well proportioned for the suit, and the suit is also featuring a dramatic improvement of boots over the Mayo Kaan and Ray Middleton suits. This suit also gets far closer to the classic sky blue looks that we'll come to know in the future for some of the biggest heavy hitters on this list. At number 16, we have Dean Cain, and welcome back to the list, man. How you been? During the third season of the New Adventures of Lois and Clark, they started a plotline that saw Superman return with other Kryptonians to New Krypton. A few years prior to this, Superman had died in the comics at the hands of Doomsday, and during his return he was shown many times sporting a slick black suit called the Resurrection suit. This suit was 100% made and based off of that similar look. However, when this was translated to live action, it was basically described as Kryptonian dress armor, and it's basically Under Armour with a big blue S on the chest and matching cuffs. Personally, I would have much rather seen them keep the insignia of House L as a silver color with matching cuffs, but, you know, we can't all get what we want. In fact, there is a suit on this list much later that does feature that look, which is why it's ranked much higher. Number 15 is a lightning round of suits all based off the classic Christopher Reeve look. These suits are all lumped into one category because if I didn't do this, we would literally be here forever. This list features multiple actors from the history of invulnerability playing Superman, John Newton and Gerard Christopher both sporting Superboy costumes that are actually heavily influenced by the Christopher Reeve look, Henry Cavill in a Christopher Reeve test suit, and my favorite, Ben Affleck from Hollywoodland, just laying on the ground looking like he needs a cigarette and a cheeseburger. Coming in at number 14, we have Tyler Hoechlin's classic suit from Supergirl, and this suit is clearly based off the New 52 Superman suit, which is a very controversial suit. This suit, much like Henry Cavill's suits, ditched the yellow belt, replacing it with red, and it completely ditches the classic red trunks. Also, I mentioned before, notice how the color is drastically darker, a theme that again we will continue to discuss. Personally, I have absolutely no problem with the New 52 suit. I also really like the classic House of LS on the chest, but I don't like the way that the cape attaches to it. It's a really awkward look, and it reminds me of Superman's look in Injustice, the video game franchise from the creators of Mortal Kombat. Number 13 is Henry Cavill's test suit, which never made it into the final cut of Man of Steel back in 2013, but it does remain because it is a fairly controversial suit as well. It's fairly close in appearance to the final product we see in Man of Steel, with one large exception. The House of L insignia on Superman's chest is completely devoid of color. This S is very reminiscent of Superman's insignia in Kingdom Come. Also note that the color here is nearly the darkest we've ever seen on the costume. It's a major complaint from diehard Superman fans who believe that the suit was becoming too dark. However, having seen all of the Zack Snyder films already, it does make sense considering those films are so dark you virtually have to watch them with night vision goggles. Coming in at number 12, we have Bob Holliday from the Broadway musical It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's Superman. This suit is fairly accurate to the comics of the time period, and it features a medium blue color. It's actually a little darker than the majority of the suits that came before it, and it's definitely an outlier in that color progression I've been mentioning over and over again. The suit also features a shorter cape than most capes that follow it, but overall the suit is fairly generic and it's decent. It's not remarkable, but it's not bad. At number 11, we come back to Castor Troy as we have another suit that never saw the light of day in an actual film, but this suit is fairly awesome if you ask me. This suit is basically Tim Burton does Superman, and seeing as Tim Burton redesigned Batman's cape and cowl into full battle armor for his live-action films, it's no wonder that the first design for his version of Superman would be a nearly identical execution. This suit features a darker matte blue finish on top of rubberized plastic. It also features a weird cod piece instead of trunks that would go on to define how a lot of these suits actually look. The colors are right, but the approach to the armor does look a bit stiff and difficult. Again, these suits were supposed to just kind of appear on Superman like a symbiote, so perhaps that's what they were going for. Also notice that the chest hair hamburger meat's popping out of the top of the suit there. It's pretty hot, Nick. Fellow Kryptonians, we have cracked the top 10. These are going to be the best of the best in terms of suits, and to be honest, I anticipate a lot of controversy in this top 10. Superman is a character that's look has changed a lot, and depending upon your age, your ideal Superman may look very different. At number 10, we have Henry Cavill's suit from Man of Steel. This suit features the darkest blue ever on a Superman costume. This was extremely controversial and remains controversial today. Many people didn't see this Superman as hope-inspiring when he was clad in such depressing battle armor. The House of L insignia is also more copper-colored and darker, but overall it's a great size for his chest. This suit also features no red trunks, similar to the New 52 version we discussed with the Supergirl suit. Also, let's be honest, Henry Cavill's a brick shithouse, so whatever he wears he's gonna look like Superman in, but this is the weakest of his suits. At number 9, we have another Henry Cavill suit, and this suit is from Justice League, and it features a dramatically brighter blue than what we saw in Batman vs Superman. It also adds a touch of gold into Superman's belt area, and it slightly reduces the size of the House of El insignia. The thing holding this suit back for me is that it features some slight awkwardness in the fake muscle accents. I don't really think Henry Cavill needs that at all. However, overall I do enjoy this suit, and I think if it would have featured red trunks, it could have cracked the top 5. At number 8 we have George Reeves, not to be confused with Christopher Reeve, another famous Superman actor that everybody knows. This costume is fairly straightforward and accurate to Golden Age comics. Note the smaller S on the chest, and oversized, almost granny panty-like red trunks. These trunks, again, were very similar, as I noted before, to the trunks that strongmen of the era would wear in exhibitions of strength. Keep in mind most of these appearances were also in black and white as well. This suit features a classic lighter blue top and bottom, as well as a crimson set of boot and cape. All of this combines to a fantastic representation of Golden Age Superman. Number 7 is crazy, and I'm probably going to catch a bunch of trash for putting this suit up so high, but Dean Cain was considered by many people to be a great Superman during his run in the suit. The actor is still fairly well known for this role, and the suit does feature a deeper blue color than the Superman that came before him, and a sheen on the suit that we hadn't really seen before. Other than that though, the suit pretty much has it all. Perfect length and color cape, well-proportioned trunks with the classic yellow belt, and Dean Cain was a great representation of a small-screen Superman on a fixed budget. Coming in at number 6 we have Tyler Hoechlin's black suit from Supergirl. And this suit is pretty badass, and anybody who disagrees hates the 90s, that's confirmed. This suit was featured in the CW crossover miniseries Elseworlds, and it's a fairly accurate take on the classic 1990s Superman Resurrection suit with one badass addition, a full-length black cape. This suit is pretty much fire, and personally I think it's the best look that Superman's had on the CW yet, but it's not perfect. It does suffer from the same problem that Tyler Hoechlin's main suit suffers from, and that is that the cape connects to the Superman insignia. Personally, I just can't really get over that. I think it looks silly, but I do think the actual House of El insignia on his chest does look pretty awesome. It's a little large, but it is silver and black, which I think looks pretty badass. Coming in at number 5 is the second best suit that Henry Cavill wore during his run as Superman, and it's featured in a dreamlike sequence during Man of Steel. This black suit is featured briefly in the film, but it does cement itself as one of the best looks the character's seen. It's even a better looking suit than the CW version, and Henry Cavill fills in the look of Superman much more effectively than Tyler Hoechlin does. This suit is basically exactly the same as the suit from number 10, except charcoal black. Zack Snyder, if you're gonna go grimdark with Superman, you should have just stuck to this suit the whole time. It was way cooler, bro. At number 4, we have the first appearance of the man that many people believe to be the greatest representation of Superman ever, Christopher Reeve. This suit was nicknamed in the Superman community as the Evil Superman suit. It was featured during Superman 3 when Superman was influenced by tainted kryptonite. This kryptonite forced Superman to act selfishly and irrationally, and it also featured Superman in a classic scene where he gets wasted. The suit itself is a bit darker in appearance than the classic Reeves suit. It's almost meant to be a slightly dirty or tainted version of the classic suit. This really symbolizes Superman kind of breaking bad, essentially. It also was pretty funny when Superman blew out the Olympic flame and ran around doing petty acts of vandalism like straightening out the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Classic super vandalism. The bronze medal goes to a highly underrated Superman costume, but more than the costume, I really think the actor here made the suit. Brandon Routh was a dramatically undervalued Superman, and he was trapped in a film that probably never should have been allowed to have been made. The casting choices for the film were perfect, but the film never really came together. This suit is heavily inspired by the classic Christopher Reeve suit, but updates the trunks and features a drastically smaller House of El insignia. It also features a smaller House of El insignia on the belt. In another reality, I could have seen Brandon Routh going down as one of the greats, but instead, he was trapped in a truly terrible movie in a really good-looking suit. The silver medal goes to Henry Cavill and Zack Snyder's second attempt at making a Superman suit, and this suit was brightened significantly over the suit from Man of Steel, but you almost can't tell in the film due to the majority of the film being so freaking dark all the time. You can really see how brightened and good this suit looks during the scene when Superman addresses Congress. The colors seem more accurate, the wrist and waist elements are also adjusted to be a bit more form-fitting and lowered. Overall, personally, I think this suit is really fantastic, even if the final film wasn't as beloved as many people would have hoped. But there can only be one champion, and the greatest Superman of all time deserves the greatest suit of all time. Christopher Reeve is a legend and considered by most to be the picture-perfect image of Silver through Bronze Age Superman. This suit features a very slight sheen, but most importantly, it is the perfect sky blue, which fits well with the age-old quote, "Look, up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman." The cape comes to mid-calf level and features the perfect red, and the House of L insignia is perfect and just the right size as to not overwhelm the viewer. The belt and trunks are also comic accurate and pretty much perfect. But what makes this suit so perfect is actually the actor wearing it. Christopher Reeve effortlessly played both a bumbling buffoon in Clark Kent and also a charismatic and charming Superman. When Christopher was in costume and he speaks in his smooth Superman voice and persona, you really do believe that he is Superman. The tagline for the original Superman film was, "You'll believe a man can fly," and to this day, I still think of that line whenever I watch this film. In 2017, Superman was inducted into the Library of Congress's National Film Registry. This actor and this Superman suit are simply the best of all time. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch the longest suit ranking video that we've put together, but there were a lot of Superman suits to rank. I'm sure you have some strong feelings, so if you do, feel free to let us know down in the comments which suits you thought were the best and why. As a YouTuber, I am required by law to also remind you to like and subscribe if you've never found our page before. Thank you for watching this video. This has been Nick from Key Issues, and you know the motto, comics over everything.